Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, also published on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support, any kind of updates and the such. Usually, we upload on Twitter X. Just a quick update on the channel. I would like, if possible, any kind of feedback regarding my microphone level audios. Since a couple of weeks with the update on the Windows, then got some firmware update on the microphone. Everything got jungle up on the settings that I had before, and since then I opted to maintain on auto level, like everything on automatic, and I think it's a little bit off in certain ways, even on game recordings that I did from some episodes since that. And I'm now tweaking around with the microphone settings, and I think it's a little bit better. But any kind of feedback regarding that, it's very much appreciated. I will maintain so far with these settings on audio to see how it goes. I think it's a little bit better because with the auto setting, even if I speak louder or not, the level seems to maintain the same. So it seems very, I don't know, flat, the sound. But yeah, it's always difficult to judge your own voice in terms of quality because it's always weird, at least for me, when you try to evaluate the quality of your voice on recordings. But yeah, other than that, later today I will have another Midnight Suns episode. We are reaching, I think it's almost 90 episodes total. I managed to already finish the game. I do recommend, especially when it's on sale. But yeah, I think it's a very good game. Especially in terms of the twist that the Firaxis studio did manage to do on the XCOM formula for this game with the cards and abilities and the such. I really do enjoy this game. It's a little bit addicting on the normal missions. You want to just keep on going and see the how you can combo abilities and the such. Very interesting. Um, and afterwards, it will be Callisto Protocol after I wrap up with the Midnight Suns. If you want to catch up on any of the completed gameplay series, I've got the most recent ones in 4K and then 1080p on the older gameplay series before I did the interruption on the channel, basically before I moved out of the country at the time. But yeah, other than that, I'm still trying to figure out a way of recording at least a couple of more demos. And again, the Elden Ring theories, I've been thinking a lot now, especially with the Nightreign announcement in terms of how the lore and some questions that I still have that I don't think they are properly answered even after Shadow of the But then again, I have to get around, get some time because I also want to go about and doing some live streams again with all the work as a freelancer. Given that I don't have a fixed schedule, it's always difficult to try and put together some like 2 to 3 hour slots to do what I want to do. But I will maintain my dedication at least for the gaming news program and at least having at least one gaming series active and launch those episodes. But yeah, other than that, let's go to the news. Similarly, NVIDIA and their latest app, the NVIDIA App, unified app that basically, I think it was, I forgot the names of the things, which was the NVIDIA control panel, which existed for, I don't know, since the beginning, I think. And the other app, which I forgot the proper name that they have, which basically was the driver stuff and all that jazz, and had the shadow play, which is the recording thingy. They unified everything, and they've been, and after that they launched a beta, and they've been improving, which is good on this unified app. They are bringing more and more elements and on this app, and it seems to have some kind of performance issues lately. And I think it might be the filters of the app itself. And it seems to be at this moment in time the only way of removing this performance hits around 15%. It seems what we're seeing from a lot of users and even from NVIDIA, and basically is removing this filter stuff or game filters and photo mode from the app itself. It seems to be working on the background and removing a lot of performance on the table regarding the games that you might play here. And it seems to be just go to app settings, features, overlay, game features, and photo mode, and then turn off this selection, and you relaunch the game. It should be good if you're having any kind of performance hit. It for a couple of days, people were not sure what the problem was, but again, internet has a way of solving these issues, and seemingly somebody found and did some comparisons, and it seems that this feature here from the app is the one to blame for the tanking in terms of performance. But yeah, just go to this setting, turn off, relaunch the game, and everything should be fine. I will not cover. There's been a lot of RTX 50 more leaks and rumors. Again, I will try to avoid diving too deep on that because again, or else I will spend all days covering and everything regarding rumors. I prefer to wait because we're not that far from NVIDIA official announcement of the RTX 50 series lineup and the specs and all that jazz. I prefer to wait until we have proper information, or else I get tired of covering the same thing all over and over and over again. In terms of gaming stuff, it seems that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is not that bad as it seems, and they've been patching up the game recently, and we got the second update that brings support for GPUs with less than 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and it adds some global illumination improvements on Xbox Series X and S, which is good to see at least, even though it seems that the puzzles are not that difficult to solve, but it seems fun. The game, from what I've been seeing, seems overall fun, which is good. Which is, I think, it's what games should achieve is to have a fun time when playing those. And the fact that this update introduced support for GPUs that have less 8 gigabytes of RAM, I think it's good because again, the mainstream or the majority of gamers again tend to use older GPUs. Not everybody buys the latest GPU there, and I think this might lend itself to, I don't know, a little bit more sales, hopefully. But yeah, and you got some. This is specifically for Xbox. The global illumination. You can see a huge difference here between the screenshots here. Again, before it was very lighten up, and I think this fix is noticeable enough for you to, I don't know, re-go there. But yeah, it seems to be improving a little bit, little by little. I don't know. Eventually, I will probably try out this game for myself. But yeah, the game seems fun, and it seems better than we were trying to from all the marketing stuff before the launch of the game, and the fact that the embargo was only lifted when the early access was made to the premium edition buyers. It seems that the game is good, but then again, I never played the game. Seems to be the overall consensus that the game is fun, which is good by itself. We got also a trailer came out for Exodus. This is kind of the alternate Mass Effect. Again, it's very similar to Mass Effect, mainly because the key BioWare veterans that are working on this game, from the creative director and the lead writer, were on Mass Effect creation IP there. They created the Mass Effect IP to a certain extent. And yeah, that's why we might see a lot of similarities with the Mass Effect IP. Again, usually it's to a certain extent it's expected when you get out of a big studio where basically you created or helped to create an IP as Mass Effect. When you create your own independent studio, sorry, you tend to go at least with familiar grounds. play to your strengths, and create something that can bring, I will assume, a good gaming experience, and with that, some gaming revenue, so you can then branch out and maybe start experimenting. But yeah, I interested on this game. The the first trailer that they released, got piqued my interest a little bit, to see how it goes. Even though we got a little bit of gameplay on this latest trailer, again, I'm again hopefully cautious regarding any kind of games that will come out. But yeah, it seems from the information that we got that it's not going to be something like open world exploration. This is very much in line what we had with Mass Effect gameplay systems also, because they are focusing on created missions, like Mass Effect style. But in the missions itself, they seem to leave room from more exploration and optional content like secret areas or something like that. The main twist here is being that you will see impact on their home world over decades, in even centuries, because it's on the on the fact that you got the traveler. I think it's what they call the traveler, and it plays around with time dilation and speed of light traveling, and how time dilation works on you and other people. So what it seems to for the players pass by days or weeks in the your home world, let's say it will the time will pass like years, decades, or even centuries, and the decisions that you make by yourself will basically to a certain extent will influence on the decisions on humanity, let's say, which is kind of interesting in terms of decisions and what kind of decisions that you make that influence your own world, because basically it's for us to try and supposedly defeat the how they call it, um oh my god, the Celestials race, which is basically an evolution of humankind to a certain degree. I think basically the first travelers went and they traveled so far that for humankind it spent millennia, while for them, I don't know, a couple of years or something like that. Again, I still didn't get that well how this is going to play out. But they say to think of us of the traveler, so the main character, as a blend of Indiana Jones and Dune's Paul Atreides. Mainly Indiana Jones in the sense of exploration and trying to dig up treasures that can advance humankind. But Dune's Paul Atreides as somebody that is making pivotal decisions that will affect humankind on our own world. Again, interesting enough. Let's see how it goes. Again, we will need more in-depth dives on gameplay and how you can explore those decisions, how they will affect them in terms of gameplay, to see how it goes in terms of the RPG elements. Other than that, seems okay, but yeah, well, I need more info to get a better and proper opinion regarding this. But yeah, it piqued my interest, and I will follow up on this game. Then we got a little bit updates regarding Obsidian stuff that happened from Matt Hansen and all that jazz. As you already know, Valve is going to bring the at least the pronoun stuff, and usually with that it comes a lot other baggage. When these kind of things start to be emerging from the game itself, and again, this is basically a recap of since this was noticed, the pronouns on this screenshot. And yeah, from Grump's drawing a line. Uh, Again, the line itself, I think that the thing is not drawing a line just because it has pronouns, is because what the pronoun thing will uncover on the rest of the game. But to a certain extent, yeah, the on the fantasy game, I don't see, or even sci-fi. Again, people tend to forget that gaming is an escapism thing. It's not something for you to continue to delve deep in real life. That's why we have entertainment, is to a certain extent escape of and have a break of real life issues and all this jazz. But yeah, then we got Elon Musk entered the conversation and all those things here. Then the replies from Matt Hansen himself, bada badi bada bada, and then basically now the latest one is the fact that the CEO from Obsidian Entertainment, there was a leaked email that from internal email, which basically I will read out a couple of parts here. Basically, again, trying to massage the conversation around what Obsidian Entertainment views itself as a company. But yeah, many of you have probably seen the controversy online about the vault over the last 4 or 5 days. I'm not going to speak directly to what is happening. Again, you should, because you're the CEO of the company. Because the way we are going to deal with this, unless things change, is to let it blow over. I have always dealt with things like this by not giving them more airtime. Again, the fact that you are not addressing directly or don't want to address and hoping that this will blow over, and the fact that the backlash or the complaints or the how people are addressing this situation are potential buyers of your product. It's not a good view, and the fact that you, like an ostrich, just want to bury your head in the sand will not go well, because again, you're the CEO, you're the person that is representing the company as in which direction things should go. This will not end well for them if they don't really address any kind of what people are expecting from this game, and they will give it rightfully so or not. People will basically will not buy the game, or a lot of people will not buy the game by the fact that you have this continuation of the what we can best describe as woke shit on games. But yeah, especially again on a fantasy game, I don't think it has any kind of space. And the fact that I think most egregiously is the fact that Matt Hansen uh, or practice illegal job hiring in terms of discrimination. It seems that discrimination is good when it's directed to male, white males. It seems. I don't think that any kind of discrimination on job hiring is acceptable. I think you always hire the best person for the job in terms of competencies hierarchies. So you shouldn't in any kind of field hire anybody just by the way they look or the way they identify themselves, let's say. I think it's a perilous journey of opening up the gates of putting your company down. But yeah, continuing with this leaked email, now to talk about how you all do engage online. You have probably all noticed that our language at Obsidian is to walk a tightrope when it comes to how we ask you to think about your online presence. You have all heard me say that your own people, and of course, have every right to say what you want to say whenever you want to say it, something I staunchly believe in personally, whether I like it, what you say or not. That freedom does come with challenges and responsibilities. Again, that's the main gist of things, particularly when you talk about things that are associated with our games or games in channels. What you say can, and then again, this ends up here. But yeah, the gist of the thing here is when you are an employee of a company, whether like it or not, anything that you might say, whether on a personal level, on a personal sphere, even if you're not engaging it from the company side of things, it will always tie up to your place of work, especially on this thing of social media. Um, Unless you place it anonymously, um, it will always tie to your place of work because even if you don't like it, you are always be tied to your place of work, and will always reflect everything you say will always reflect that in the company that you work for. That's why usually my advice is people don't speak that much regarding that, whatever, whether it's politics or anything to those lines, or even on the product itself. I think that's why marketing departments exist, because anything that should be said, especially from employees that have an online premises, even especially on this gaming industry, and usually on bigger corporations. I think that's why marketing department should have a strategy on how to approach the company's vision, and what employees can and or should say or should not say. Again, I don't think they should be forbidden to speak about it, but I think some guidelines on how to speak, especially on people that have higher positions, like Matt Hansen is a creative. I think he's a director of some department. Yeah, I think there should be. I think that is the tightrope that companies should strive for, is to have a strategy when you, especially when you go about and try to approach people with some influence, let's say, or they are commenting on your products. When you approach them, there should be some guidelines on how to do things, because even if that employee doesn't hold the same vision as the company, the fact that the employee, whether he's in a higher position or not, when they speak or interact with somebody that is commenting on your product, it will reflect the perception that people will have from your company and the product that you are working on in this time, which is about. Again, this is not the best way to deal with, to say the least, from Hugo, which is the CEO of Obsidian Entertainment. And this will retroactively will hurt the other IPs that you already worked on, specifically Fallout New Vegas to a certain extent, but it's very old game there, and most likely the Outer Worlds, which seems to be a good game by itself, but it might hurt the sales of that, or the continuation of sales of that game by itself, but by the fact that it was the same company that worked on this game. But yeah, I think that having a little bit of a better strategy about how to go about things should be made, and it's always good to have a good marketing department, because the marketing department really does work on the relationship between the company and the general public, and how to interact with the general public. And when you have like these rogue elements, like Matt Hansen, that just go on full blown throttle, and the fact that nothing happened to him, it seems to be reinforced by the company itself. It just brings the at least it brings the impression that the company supports his point of views, which is not good, by the fact that he is endorsing most likely discriminatory hiring policies, which it's at least illegal in United States. So I don't see this going in a good path. And then lastly, we got, again, I think the last video that I made about Elden Ring Nightreign, I didn't express myself that well. At least that's the impression that I got from the remembering what I talk about here. And then basically this is coming more from the Famitsu interview from Junya Ishizaki, the director of the Nightreign game. Again, I think it condenses some information pretty well here to transmit what the game is all about. Basically, it's an online cooperative survival action game in which three players try to survive for 3 days. I think that's a pretty good sum up. It will be a different game cycle from previous one. Again, try to differentiate itself from Elden Ring itself, so people don't associate that much as what kind of experience people should expect from this game. But yeah, in terms of the gist of the game itself, basically you will select a mission or stage, or basically a boss that will appear in a third day. So basically you're playing for the boss to defeat that boss after the final third day. And the three of the players that want to challenge them. Each day has a day and night time, so a cycle, and the scope of what you can explore with now with the passage of time. So basically, that battle royale mechanic of the physical space that you can go until you defeat until you face the boss is going to be diminished through time throughout the day. And then basically the checkpoint of when the night comes, you get that boss battle. The game is completed when the final boss, which appear on the third day, is defeated. Supposedly this 3-day cycle should last around 40 minutes or so to clear the game on the third day. And of course, if you were wiped out on the first day, the playing time will be much shorter, of course. Basically, the design in terms of the difficulty and how the game should be played, like a better terms, is the game is designed to be played by 3 players, so they balance everything around having 3 players at one time in the session. On the other hand, we also allow players who wanted to enjoy the game at their own pace or who are in the mood to play by themselves again, which is always so good. As a secondary option, you can play everything by yourself and the game will be balanced around that. Strangely enough, there is no option to play for two persons to play this as a co-op, which is interesting enough. I don't know why. I don't know if I have to do anything with the boss battles design. They were designed specifically around free, and then if they try to balance out that two, might not be that good. I don't know, but there is no specifics about just there is at this moment in time. It's impossible for only 2 players to join the session, uh, which is a little bit weird of a decision, but probably, hopefully, they will explain why on how they designed the game of not be able to let only two persons join the session. Then he continues, even if each player plays as one wolf, they will always gather to fight bosses that appear at night. It may happen that an ally who was completely out of sight during the daytime appears at night in a very strong state. So basically, it gives a sense that probably when you join the session, you got 3 players total. They are going to probably most likely be dropped in completely different places on the stage, and and of course at the end of the day, while the area will start tightening up and decrease in size, they will eventually all 3 will battle that boss. But yeah, you might encounter them midway through to the boss battle, but you might have a surprise of when you find them. They are way stronger than you. Again, it depends a lot on the randomization, I assume, and the exploration that every player does when they start the day. Which is very interesting. So it gives a lot of room from experimentation and trying to explore as fast as you can and defeat the little mobs in your way to the nighttime, and in that case to the boss fight of that day. Also, the runes obtained from defeating enemies go to each member to the party, so even if you fight without cooperation, the whole party will benefit as a result. Again, it seems that um, runes to a certain extent seems like kind of the XP kind of a thing is shared between the 3 parties. That's my interpretation of this. And again, to start, there is a vast field and strategy elements such as bases and small dungeons are scattered throughout it. Their placement is randomly changed each time you enter a session, but it's fixed for that session. So basically, when you start the session for that 40 minutes, when it's randomized, it stays fixed for the entirety of that session. But yeah, you got that kind of role-like kind of element there on the randomization aspect of things, being exploration and what kind of items that you can get. In the bases and dungeons, there are enemies in treasure chests, and if you defeat the enemies, you get runes, the so-called experience. And in treasure chests, there are weapons and items. And then we got various weapons are available, but their strength and battle techniques are random. So it's good to see this kind of randomization, which again lends itself to this kind of game being more experimental in its nature, which is just something I like roguelike kind of games, and I think Elden Ring, the Nightreign can be a good game in that sense on this kind of mechanics. Um, it says also there are also a few enemies from the Dark Souls series. In terms of the setting, they are drawn from other worlds due to the influence of the Night King. Again, this is to basically reinforce that this is basically a spin-off. There is no direct connection with Elden Ring. They take some lore and some events that happened in Elden Ring, specifically until the War of the Shattering, um, to give kind of a baseline of the the characters that will appear. Especially, I will assume the Night King might appear after when the Shattering happened, and I think that's why they can pull the thread in terms of the story and the lore there. But I don't see any kind. I'm not seeing any kind of direct connection between Elden Ring and Nightreign regarding at least after the Shattering. It's basically a what if scenario or a kind of parallel world, like a multiverse, if you want to think about it. But yeah, we might take from some of the characters that will appear in this game. We might repeat it. For example, Market, I think, will appear, and some of the bosses that will appear that have at least from the same from Elden Ring. If we have any kind of lore on the codex entries, we might take something out of not exactly make a correspondence to Elden Ring itself, but at least we have a better perception of what that character is as motivations and the such. But yeah, I will not take it as like having how do you say it as canon for Elden Ring from the characters from this game. Then they go about in specifically regarding skills and the such. We decide to create skills and so-called special moves that give each player special abilities. I think it's referring to like ultimates and the such that has some time cooldowns and the thing. In order to maintain the goodness of being able to enjoy various character builds, which is one of the attractive elements of Elden Ring, we have included elements such as skills that will show special abilities for each character and arts like weapon arts, I suppose, like so-called special moves. Each character has a very different feel, so we hope you will enjoy using them in a variety of ways. And the thing that they do here, I think they're basically eight kind of builds, not archetypes, but I think eight kind of different builds that you choose. The interesting thing is, supposedly, each character has his own backstory, and you can interact there on the roundtable hold. You can interact with the other builds to get a little bit more of background story from each character, which I think is adds a little bit more depth on the game itself. And then he continues, each character has a certain performance, and the initial equipment, skills, and arts are fixed. But we wanted to make it easy for people to choose their favorites at a glance. This was also based on the idea that we wanted people to be able to play the game right away. So basically, is to ease up on if you're new to any kind of from software game and you're expecting like huge complicated things when choosing classes and the such. I think they wanted to simplify a little bit that by having eight predefined builds that can be chosen just by looking at the character. You will have a good idea what the character should be doing by the way it looks, which is also good. And just pick that character, go try out some stuff, see if it is for your liking or not. Then try other character and the such until you find something that you like. But in the meantime, it seems that throughout those sessions, you might have like pick up some weapons or choose some arts or stuff like that that might tune a little bit more to your liking that specific build. And there is also the things with relic stuff, which seems to be like permanent buffs, where supposedly on the roundtable hold should have like an altar when you put those relics there, which can be from statistic boosts to those that enhance character skills. It can be also arts like the weapon arts, or can enhance weapon arts. so it might be more tailored to a specific kind of a build there, or normal actions. The customization or relics will greatly change the way that you play the game. Again, so basically there is a lot of depth. It's not just kind of what some people are telling, which is basically a Fortnite, an Elden Ring Fortnite. I don't think that they will just commit with a game like this in such a lazy way. Again, from this the interviews that the director from Nightreign is been giving, it seems that they thought very well of what they want. At least try to experiment, because this is very different of what they've been launching throughout the years, at least from Dark Souls. Um, it seems very different. I think they want at least as a experimentation, but they thought this experimentation in picking up good mechanics, or at least excellent mechanics from other types of games, and put it in and balancing out in this kind of experience. The excellent thing is, by the fact that they are experimenting with different things, especially from given the name of the game, which is Elden Ring Nightreign. They took upon themselves of not having any kind of shenanigans that happened with these kind of games, which is monetization. It's going to be a full-on experience. You buy the game, which people are expecting around, I don't know, between 30ish to $40 experience, and everything is unlockable through gameplay. So there is no XP boost or any kind of those stuff. There's not going to be skins to be selling on any kind of store. I think it's a solo experience. You buy a full experience, and then you everything is unlockable through gameplay. Given the arts and everything and customization options, everything will be unlockable for the gameplay itself. No any kind of this microtransaction shenanigans happening in this game. The only thing that might be worry for some people is the longevity of this game. But I think if they continue to experiment and see how the feedback of the players is when they start playing this game, I think they will tinker with the formula here to reach a better state, because I think they want this to have a lot of players' feedback, so they can see what it works and what doesn't work, and then afterwards see what they can take out of this game, and probably start infusing here and there some sprinkles of certain things from this game in upcoming projects they might have. I think it's good because, again, um, they are worried with delivering a quality product mentality of Miyazaki, which is not only the game director of game Elden Ring and other games and the other games from software. He is also the CEO, and he has a good mentality of thinking on long term. And the fact that he authorized this or give his blessing for this new game director Junya Ishizaki, and the fact that he is already been working since at least Dark Souls 1 on From Software, so he's a long time employee. He knows the philosophy, he knows what players are expecting in terms of quality of the games from software, and the philosophy of software on how he approaches game design. And the fact that he had a supposedly a pretty good idea and or a good concept of a game, and the fact that Miyazaki already said that he is working on picking up people inside the company that might have an excellent idea for a game or interesting enough concept to for a game to put him in a director position and work within From Software to deliver an excellent product. I think this overall is going to be pretty good, even though if this game is not X successful or doesn't sell as much as Elden Ring, I think it's going to be a good lesson for at least for them on how to tweak around in certain aspects of the upcoming games that they are working on. And I think it's a valuable lesson for From Software also in seeing internally how can a developer that worked for as much as he Junior worked in From Software, how can the promotion, the internal promotion of good developers and good persons that work and understand what From Software wants to achieve. I think this is also internally good for them because as I think Miyazaki is a little bit not worried, but he wants to From Software to be a legacy per se, which it's more about than Miyazaki itself. I think he wants to imbue everybody inside From Software to have this specific philosophy of building up excellent games, fun games, challenging if possible. And yeah, I think it's a good way to go about and leave a legacy in that sense. But yeah, I think I overstretched too much today. Let's go for some gaming deals. The winter sale is coming Thursday, so tomorrow or so, if not mistaken. So, but there are still some good deals here. Guardians of the Galaxy, 85% off. We got also Resident Evil franchise is continuing on sale. I will leave all the links for all Resident Evil games. We got also Death Stranding Director's Cut. I think it's the better way to go about this game. 50%, yeah, 50%. Then we got Dredge, 50% on the base game also. Then we got Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess. This is a demo that I want to try out to see how good it is. But at this moment in time, it's 20% off. Again, was a recent launch, so the percentage is not that much. But I think this game is pretty good. Then we got The Long Dark, 40% off in several modes. Again, I'm not sure how they distinguish themselves, but it's one of those that I would like to try out one of these days. Then you got Stray, Meow Meow game. You play as a cat. I don't know what to tell you more. 40% off. Then on GOG, there are some gems here. Deadlights Director's Cut. Again, very cheap. It's not a very huge game. You can complete it around in 5 hours or so. I did a series on that. You can check out the first episode. There is a playlist for this game. It's one of the first games that I did a series on it, but I did enjoy it, especially for the price point. Again, it's not game of the year kind of a thing, but it's enjoyable. There is some story behind it on the game itself, but yeah, a little bit exploration. As you can see here, it's a little bit more linear than usual, but I really did enjoy this game. And then you got Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, 85% off, and then the sequel, the Digital Deluxe Edition, Mankind Divided, 85% off. And yeah, I'm going to wrap out for today. As always, with a plug on my Patreon. The Patreon is for extra support is more in line for me to try and get a better storage solution for the stuff that I do for my clients, so I can have backups of the things that I do for them, and also some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So till then, Kunamy Master out.